Donald Trump is panicking, and he just kicked out the press from the Oval Office when he held separate meetings, first with President Zelenskyy of Ukraine and then with Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel. Donald Trump refused to allow the press into the Oval Office to attend these meetings. Donald Trump knows that his catastrophic war in Iran is spiraling out of control. He is destroying the economy here in the United States. Iran does not want to make a deal with Donald Trump. He did not want to answer any questions at all from the press. I mean, you can see some of these photos right here. This photo of Zelenskyy entering the White House through the gates right there. You see this photo of Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel, obviously trying to get Donald Trump to destroy Iranian infrastructure, power plants, and bridges. You see J.D. Vance looking very awkward there, as he always does. He clearly does not want to be around Netanyahu in the Oval Office. These are photos that are now just coming out from the White House that they are releasing. Donald Trump, instead of allowing the press to attend these Oval Office meetings with Netanyahu and Zelenskyy, Trump is posting the following on social media: "Head for an eye." And he's quoting Rubio saying that Iran is begging U.S. to make a deal, adds that Donald Trump's policy is not an eye for an eye, it is a head for an eye. Donald Trump speaking like the despicable war criminal that he is. Also, Donald Trump posting the following while these meetings are taking place from his account on Truth Social: Trump on TikTok. He claims that he's the #1 most followed and watched world leader on TikTok in June of 2026. It's not true, but he wants everybody to know that. He claims he got 425 billion views. He just makes up a number. 425 billion views. And he says there were 1 billion views across UFC 250, Trump's Iran peace deal, and Happy Birthday, Mr. President TikToks. Okay, so he's just claiming that every TikTok is his TikTok. And then he's claiming the Iran peace deal was great because it brought him TikTok views. Now, in the real world, Iran's IRGC spokesperson just held a press conference warning that any country or company that takes money from Iran's frozen assets will have its ships barred from transiting the Strait of Hormuz. There are no tankers, no ships leaving the Strait of Hormuz under Iran's firm control, and you still have the Saudi Arabian refineries burning in the east and the west of Saudi Arabia. They actually had to shut down the Jazan refinery, which produces a lot there. And but Donald Trump is posting TikToks, everybody, bragging that the Iran peace deal, which doesn't exist, got him a lot of views on TikTok, everybody. That's what Trump wants you to know. While Donald Trump refused to allow the press into these meetings with Zelenskyy and Netanyahu, Donald Trump did call into state regime media, which calls itself Fox. And Donald Trump said, hey, I just want you all to know I control the Strait of Hormuz. Seriously, that's what he says. He calls state regime media. He doesn't allow the press to attend the Netanyahu meeting, where Netanyahu wants the United States to get into more catastrophic wars. Does not attend the meeting with Zelenskyy when Donald Trump promised that he would bring peace in the war from Russia and Ukraine in 24 hours, Donald Trump said back during the election. Remember that? Won't allow the press in, but he calls state regime media Fox and says, Iran doesn't control the strait, I control it. No, you don't. What a delusional, sick maniac this guy is. Here, play this clip.
Get through. Iran doesn't control the strait. We control the strait. Now, they can drop a couple of mines in there and screw things up, but we control the strait.
Then Brian Kilmeade of state regime media Fox says, okay, you keep claiming you're talking with people on Iran and they want to make a deal. Iran says they are not even talking to you, that they're having no discussions, that they don't want to negotiate. So who are you speaking to? Are you speaking to MB Ghalibaf? Are you speaking to Aragchi? Who are you speaking to the Ayatollah? Obviously, he's not speaking to any of these people. Who are you talking to? And then Donald Trump's like, they're just very good. I don't want to say they're very good conversations. They're begging for a deal. They're begging me right now. No, they're not begging you. And this is just such an embarrassment to the United States. I mean, we're beyond that point at this point, but this is what he's doing this morning. Here, play this clip.
There's on Iran, but Iran has come out publicly and say, we're not talking to the U.S. We're
Well,
going to
they
pause
just
as
came
long
out
as they're
and said
paused.
we are talking a little while ago because.
So could you tell me who you're talking to, Mr. President?
For some reason, we can be in the midst of a beautiful discussion, and they'll come out and say, we're not talking, or we didn't discuss nuclear. Well, that's all we discussed because they'll never have a nuclear weapon. They understand that. And we have had some very good talks, and very interesting with Lindsey. He was very much a hawk, as you would say, on Iran. And over the last few weeks, I would say that he became like, if you could make a deal, it's better making a deal in this case than just destroying the rest of the country. We've destroyed most of it, frankly. But he was somebody that said it's a good time to make a deal, nice time to make a deal.
What does a good deal look like?
Now, I wouldn't say necessarily he feels that way about Ukraine. He's very militant about. I mean, Lindsey liked war, to be honest with you, okay? I said, you're a nice guy. How come you like war so much? He was a guy that liked war. I jokingly...
And then he starts threatening the war crimes again. They're begging me for a deal, but I'm getting ready to blow up their desalination facilities. I want to make sure that they don't get their water. I'm going to blow up their bridges. Do you know how long it would take me, Brian? It would take me 15 minutes to blow up all of their bridges, all of their desalination plants, and then what would they have? They would have nothing. All 91 million people. This is what he's saying. Here, play this clip.
This is actually a good time to make a deal for them. If they don't make a deal, then I go back and I finish the job. But that's going to take them forever to rebuild. Already, it'll take them many years to ever to rebuild. And if I go back and finish up the job, as some people would like, with the bridges, very easy. I could take out most of their bridges in less than an hour. Less than an hour. But, it takes them 10 years to build a bridge. Bridges take the longest, and power plants are second. I can knock out the power plants. Within one day, all of their power plants would be gone. And I let them know that, with negotiations. They said, look, people want me to do that. I think I get almost the same thing out of it as doing it. But the problem is they'll never be able to, I think about 91 million people without power, without bridges, would have to live. And it's a very, very delicate balance.
Yeah.
So I think we have a very strong position right now. They know I'm going to do that if they don't make a deal. The bridges are going to be gone. Literally in less than, I would say in 2 hours, most of the major bridges will all be gone. And the power plants in one day.
And then he says, Brian, everybody, the tariffs, they've stopped 8 wars. You all know that, right? I stopped 8 wars, mostly with the tariffs. What do you mean you stopped 8 wars with the tariffs? I keep repeating this over and over again because it's objectively true that Donald Trump is actually a psychotic individual. Like, actually psychotic. Yes, he's a malignant narcissist, but this is the worst possible human being, the worst of all of the human beings. I could pick anybody right now as I'm walking outside. You, and like literally at random. They would be better than Donald Trump by far, by the way. He's delusional. He's delusional. Yes, the tariffs stopped 8 wars. The tariffs didn't stop any war. What are you talking about? And then he goes, yes, the tariffs stopped nuclear war between Pakistan and India. With my tariffs, I did it. Come on, people. Here, play this clip.
The tariffs have made this country a fortune. It made the country rich, and I stopped 8 wars. I would say 5 of them because of tariffs. The threat of tariffs stopped India and Pakistan from going into a nuclear war. The threat of tariffs stopped numerous other countries from going to war. These tariffs, it's the greatest thing, and only the really smart people or the people that are non-political and that get it talk about it. The Democrats know how good it's been.
Then Brian Kilmeade's like, but are you worried, though, that the new tariffs that you've put in place, 50% tariffs on certain Canadian products, 25% tariffs against Brazil, 10 to 12.5% tariffs on 60 economies across the world, UK, European Union, Australia, more on Canada, by claiming that they are aiding and abetting involuntary servitude in their countries, that you've made that decision, thus you're going to tariff them. And you say the U.S. is imperfect, but these other countries can't disprove that they don't get their labor from slave labor, so we're going to tariff them, but the U.S. doesn't do it. The U.S. doesn't do it. And Donald Trump's like, It's bringing in hundreds of billions of dollars. We're so rich. We're getting all this tariff money. It's a tax on us, you idiot. You're taxing American companies that are being passed on to consumers. It's why inflation is surging. It's why we're very close to having interest rates having to be raised by the Fed, by your guy, Kevin Warsh, because inflation is surging and getting out of control again. You can go, well, it was good last month. First of all, it wasn't good. Year over year, it's up over former President Biden, who you would criticize. And it should be at 2% if you did nothing. And now, because of the catastrophic and unlawful war that's resumed in Iran, it's going to be over 4%, and the Fed's going to have to raise the interest rates, and people can't afford homes, and mortgage rates are higher. And it's a real disaster because of you. Here, play this clip.
Are you worried that the tariffs that you put forward over the last couple of days will hurt the economy as they adjust in bringing manufacturing home?
No, because it's bringing hundreds of billions of dollars. I was at General Motors yesterday. They have the best year. They have the most trucks, the most cars. The tariffs have saved General Motors. What I've done to the auto business, what I've done to the chip business, we have chip.
And then Donald Trump, this is what state regime media keeps pushing, Dr. Fauci stuff, Dr. Fauci this. And this is what Donald Trump is talking about. Again, won't allow the cameras in during the Zelenskyy meeting. Kick them out so that they couldn't be there with Zelenskyy and Netanyahu. But he wants to spend his time attacking Dr. Fauci. Here, play this clip.
Something different. He was a much bigger player in the Biden administration. I grew tired of him. He was... You remember that, he wanted to close everything down. I allowed it to be up to the governors, and most or many of the Republican governors didn't want to close. And being somewhat of a federalist, the federalist theory is let the governors make the decision, and we let them. The blue states were mostly closed, and the red states were open, or they started to open very fast. So the Republicans actually did a very, very good job having to do with that. And we did a great job with Operation Warp Speed. I never got the credit.
Dr. Fauci, of course, much bigger during the Biden administration than during your administration during the height of COVID. I mean, he says the dumbest things imaginable. J.D. Vance was at the Capitol building. I guess he was he doing a roast of Lindsey Graham? I mean, J.D. Vance doing a roast of Lindsey Graham during Lindsey Graham's memorial ceremony in the Capitol building. J.D. Vance says, I was leaving an event with Lindsey Graham, and Lindsey Graham told me a story about his time in the House. And if I repeated exactly what he told me, it would be the end of my political career forever. But what I can say is that I was laughing so hard that by the time we got to the next event, I had abdominal cramps. What are you even talking? What were you and Lindsey Graham talking about that's so inappropriate that if you shared it publicly, you would not be able to have a political career? And this is what you're saying at the guy's funeral? Here, play this clip.
And in one event in particular, we had just left one event. We were riding in the back of the car going to the next event. Lindsey Graham told me a story about his time in the House. And if I repeated exactly what he told me, Darlene, it would be the end of my political career forever. But what I can say is that I was laughing so hard that by the time we got to the next event, I had abdominal cramps and I was barely able to speak because Lindsey Graham could make anybody laugh.
Now, while the Trump regime wants nothing to be done transparently, while he just wants to call state regime media and say, oh, they want to do a deal with me, oh, they don't want to do a deal with me, what else are we learning? This article just came out. Those deadly U.S. boat strikes where the United States has killed close to 300 slaughtered, war crimes, 300 people on fishing boats off the coast of Venezuela. Well, the Trump regime's deadly military strikes on alleged drug trafficking boats have not reduced the amount of cocaine entering the United States, but they're prompting criminal organizations to develop new strategies and tactics and undermining traditional investigative methods, according to a previously unreported assessment by the Drug Enforcement Administration. A closed-door congressional briefing and interviews with current and former U.S. and foreign officials has revealed. The Washington Post saw this DEA assessment acknowledging that the U.S. street prices and purity and availability of cocaine haven't changed. All the boat strikes have done is cause traffickers to adjust their routes. Notably, the traffickers are adjusting their routes while you look at the routes in the Strait of Hormuz separately, all shut down while Donald Trump is claiming, it's open, I control the strait. You've got Donald Trump being mocked internationally with memes like this. Iran is begging to make a deal. Head for an eye. Oh, Donald Trump is playing 8-dimensional checkers right now, right? And while you have Netanyahu meeting with Donald Trump, Israel's defense minister has been on all the Israeli media today saying things like this. Netanyahu achieved what Churchill could not. He brought Trump together with us to attack Iran, bring the United States to strike before another Pearl Harbor occurred. 24 Lebanese villages, hundreds of years old. We destroyed all of the buildings. Not house by house, entire villages we destroyed. Their destruction has been completed. You need to understand, 15,000 to 20,000 homes across 24 villages have been destroyed in Lebanon. Again, while Donald Trump is meeting with Netanyahu, Israel's defense minister Israel Katz says, in Gaza, we destroy not only what is underground, but also all of the houses. Today, nearly 70% of Gaza has been destroyed. We very much want to strike Iran's energy targets. The United States is not approving it as of the moment because of the concern that Iran would attack neighboring countries and trigger a global oil crisis, but we want to see those attacks happen. The great Persian Empire, arrogant and boastful, which sought to destroy Israel, has collapsed. And finally, Israel's defense minister is saying, American fighter jets are taking off from Israel to carry out strikes in Iran. The Iranians know it. The Iranians know it. We also threaten Turkey. We will not allow Erdogan to strengthen Syria against it. We know how to defend Israel's interests. We are not intimidated. Erdogan should also make sure he has no ambition because our strength is with us. You get that? Finally, I'll just report on this. FIFA president Donald Trump's buddy Gianni Infantino is exploring the sale of 20 to 30% in a new company that would own and manage the World Cup to private equity. In a deal valuing a new business that would own the World Cup at around 15 billion pounds, FIFA would retain majority control while member associations and private investors would hold minority stakes. The proposal reportedly being handled by, what, you want to sell the World Cup and make billions of dollars selling the World Cup? That's what Trump and Gianni Infantino were doing with the whole fake peace trophy and things. All right, well, there you have it. Hear my little baby in the background. I gotta go see what's up. That's the news this morning. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers. Thanks for watching, everybody. We appreciate you.
Breaking news right now. My brothers and I wrote a book. It's called WTF America. And well, doesn't that just say it all? It comes out officially this October, but you can pre-order your copy today. Just scan the QR code or click the link in the description below.